Welcome to Working at UIC 101, Discipline Related to Civil Service Employees. Supervisors and managers at UIC are charged with the responsibility of organizing and guiding the work of employees. There are no easy answers when it comes to managing people, particularly when deciding if disciplinary action is required. The purpose of this UIC 101 module is to provide information about UIC's system of corrective and progressive discipline, highlighting documentation required from you to support a discipline charge if challenged. One of the most difficult tasks for any supervisor or manager is to administer discipline. It is challenging to confront an employee with accusations of wrongdoing, which may include infractions of university or department policies and procedures. In accordance with university procedures, as part of your supervisory function, it is expected that you will follow formal discipline steps when the situation warrants. Keep in mind, key elements of the UIC disciplinary process include equitable and consistent treatment, as well as just cause. Please note, information provided in this video is intended as a complement to University of Illinois policy and rules for civil service staff. What you need to know includes the role of employee relations, how to address myths about the disciplinary process, how to document appropriately using FOSA guidelines, and how to apply the disciplinary process at UIC. The role of employee relations is to interpret disciplinary process and provisions in university policy and rules, civil service statute and rules, and union contracts. Employee relations also provides advice regarding good business practices, suggests alternative actions such as retraining or coaching an employee or referring an employee to assistance service or university health service, assists with resolution of disagreements. For instance, employee relations may act as ombudsman between the employee, supervisor, and union in resolving certain issues, or may suggest referral to the Office for Access and Equity for mediation service, and employee relations coordinates and monitors the disciplinary process. In addition, employee relations conducts pre-disciplinary action meetings and intent to discharge meetings, also known as reconciliation meetings, and employee relations offers suggestions related to investigations, such as how to gather supporting documentation. There are many myths about the discipline process. Here are some of the key facts to dispel them. The university has an established progressive, corrective disciplinary process. The manager or supervisor is responsible for monitoring work performance, behavior, and attendance of employees. Departments should not meet with labor union representatives to discuss disciplinary action without the benefit of counsel from employee relations. There are established rules governing sick leave usage and approval. All civil service employees should be advised that they may ask for representation for greater understanding of UIC policies and procedures, regardless of their union status or collective bargaining agreement, in cases where the conversation may lead to disciplinary action. The manager or supervisor is responsible for initiating the disciplinary process when employee work performance, attendance, or behavior issues become apparent. Performance reviews may not be used to discipline employees. To help avoid difficulties in the discipline process, a manager or supervisor should provide employees with established written work guidelines and expectations, and a written requirement to provide substantiation of absence due to illness or personal business. Also, any and all infractions should be documented, such as copies of time card or report sheets, or examples of poor work performance. At the University of Illinois, just cause for discipline or discharge of civil service employees must be established. Therefore, documentation of work-related infractions is one of the most important leadership tasks a supervisor will undertake. Also, proper documentation can greatly increase an employee's understanding of certain work-related deficiencies and assist the employee in correcting the problem. When documenting work-related infractions, a simple set of guidelines will help guide the process. For more information about identifying facts, objectives, solutions, and actions, see the download PDF version of this presentation. University employees are required to report for work fit for duty and are required to remain fit for duty during their entire work shift. If you notice behavior which leads you to believe that the employee may be impaired, discuss it with Health Services or the ER and the Labor and Employee Relations Officer before confronting the employee. Employees who are impaired as a result of substance abuse present a particularly serious safety hazard for themselves and to other employees. When you have a reasonable suspicion that one of your employees is under the influence of an illegal drug or alcohol, or is unfit to perform his or her job responsibilities, refer him or her to Health Services or the ER for evaluation. You may also refer to the booklet, A Supervisor's Guide to Employee Relations, for additional information. The disciplinary process at UIC includes 4 steps: verbal counseling, a letter of warning, disciplinary suspension, and recommendation for discharge. Disciplinary action may start at or move to any step within the established process, depending on the severity of the infraction. It is the supervisor's responsibility to promptly identify and investigate work-related infractions. Remember, you may always contact your human resources representative or employee relations to discuss recommendations prior to moving forward. When scheduling a meeting to discuss disciplinary issues, a 3-workday notification is required. The notification should include specified infractions, meeting guidelines, and supporting documentation. Verbal counseling is an initial informal step of progressive discipline. Schedule the meeting in a private setting and provide a follow-up memo outlining what was discussed. You can refer to the Supervisor's Guide to Employee Relations for a sample verbal counseling memo. A copy of this memo should not be placed in the employee's HR file. A letter of warning is an initial, formal step of progressive discipline. The process begins with a pre-disciplinary action meeting held at the department level. If warranted, the department will issue a follow-up letter of warning. 2 copies of the letter are forwarded to Labor and Employee Relations. Disciplinary suspension is a 3-step unpaid suspension in the progressive discipline process. Before proceeding, you should discuss the situation, develop charges, and schedule a pre-disciplinary action meeting with an employee relations officer. If warranted, the employee relations officer will prepare a notice of disciplinary suspension, and the department will serve the notice to the employee. If you have questions about discipline related to civil service employees or are in need of counsel, contact Labor and Employee Relations. You may also request a copy of the booklet, A Supervisor's Guide to Employee Relations, that provides supervisors tools, steps, explanations, and examples of specific situations and documents. Thank you for watching. We hope this Working at UIC 101 module has been helpful.